This shuttle mission will launch My God.
1 minute 15
There's been an
seconds,
explosion.
velocity 2,900 feet per second, altitude 9 nautical miles, downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
The devastating aftermath of the Challenger shuttle disaster marks an important historical moment that challenges us to rethink the role ethics should have within an organization. On the night before the launch, many concerns were raised on the rocket's boosters over the high risk of O-ring failure. This was due to the unusual freezing temperatures that would damage the O-ring seal. Eventually, this leads to a leakage of the solid rocket booster joint, causing heated gas to spontaneously ignite the external fuel tank. Even when facing clear red flags, NASA was pressured to pursue the launch anyways because of prolonged delays and a strict schedule to adhere to. For further investigation, the aftermath of the disaster formed the Rogers Commission. This led to the discovery that the underlying cause was due to NASA's flawed organizational culture and communication between upper management, including violation of their own safety protocols. It was a tragic sight for millions of people around the world who watched the explosion occur live on TV broadcast, a great loss for the community and the families of the 7 honorable astronauts who are now gone but will never be forgotten.
Within our journey of becoming professional engineers, we have to understand the unexpected failures of the Challenger disaster, with the two key role models being Bob Ebeling, with his opportunities to prevent the Challenger disaster's launch, with his claims of avoiding engagement of people's lives in the attempts to fight against the higher management team, with the included fact of Alan J. McDonald also being able to fight against the management team with the O-rings, both of which his claims were neglected by the NASA Vice President and high executive members.
We chose Alan J. McNair as he was the prominent actor most ethically responsible in this situation. McNair was the director of the company called Theocor that was working on the Challenger shuttle's rocket boosters. In retrospect, McNair was the most impactful person that refused to launch the Challenger shuttle due to unexpected disaster. NASA requested a writing of the recommendation and signature of the person responsible for the official FAQ. If McNair had signed, it would be responsible for the FAQ and disaster, but instead he refused. Ultimately, McNair's boss signed off instead of him. This was considered by McNair as the smartest decision as he has ever made. In the aftermath, McNair became a member of the failure analysis team and assured that the cracked turbine blade in the engine was part of the cause. He saw a film of the shuttle launching and found out they were already concerned the night before the launch. McNair demonstrated the Challenger's cause of the failure, but NASA ignored it initially. In addition, if he presented this information and the occurrences he witnessed pre-launch, he would be in litigation for a long time. The ethical dilemma for McNair was whether he should have hidden the truth or revealed it. As a result, he kept written records of the launch of the Challenger shuttle to avoid litigation from the astronauts' families. Later on, McNair published a book called Trust, Lies, and O-Rings Inside a Space Shuttle Challenger Disaster in 2009 to reveal the secrets of what really happened before the launch.
McDonald emphasized the point that engineers should have a fair say over the proceeding of the launch. Management should not dictate launch procedures since they are not as technologically aware as the engineers are. The engineers could have prevented it on the morning of the launch, as they have already seen frozen equipment within the shuttle. If they were truly convinced that this issue would result in a high chance of failure, they would have taken the necessary steps to persuade NASA not to launch over the risk of losing life. Based on consequentialism, the astronaut would have been saved if NASA would have listened. And even if NASA listened to the engineers, a similar incident would have happened.
There should be guidelines set in place for such scenarios like this. If there are concerns regarding the proper functionality of a system, management should put the priorities and opinions of the engineers ahead of their own. Engineers understand the flaws and inner workings of their creations better than people whose only job is to push pen and paper. So therefore, the concerns raised by engineers should hold more value. Even the safety of the astronauts seemed to have been disregarded. Prioritizing the safety of those that are willingly putting themselves at risk is more important than public opinions and PR opportunities. Due to the repeated delays, NASA wanted to prove that they could launch their shuttles under any weather, and the decision to do so despite the numerous red flags proved to be catastrophic. As the famous saying goes, a delay is better than a disaster.